Welcome back, everyone. This is part two, I guess, of my what to do with turkey spurs video. Here I'm just going to show you a quick way of how I deal with the turkey spurs. I think I showed you that necklace in the previous video. It's been a couple years since I've been out there. I finally got out this year, haven't been too busy. So what you're going to need is hydrogen peroxide, just your normal borax that you get at the grocery store. I use it's a brass brush to try and scrub some of the sinewy stuff off the bone, the leg bone. A sharp box cutter knife, X-Acto knife, whatever you want to call it, razor blade. I use a hacksaw, and then I use a little screwdriver to poke the marrow out of the leg bone before I put it into the peroxide. As you can see, I started one here just so this video isn't ridiculously long. I've got it sitting there in the peroxide. You can see the bubbles. That just helps whiten it up, and it brings out the blood that you can see starting to come out of the bottom of the spur there, and then that way it doesn't come out after you've got it all done. So my process is, this is a 24 teeth per 18 teeth per inch hacksaw blade. I just find it works better. The finer teeth tend to clog up with the bone and the skin and stuff. So I'm going to set the camera down here, and then I'll show you what I do. So I take the leg and then I cut it here on either side of the spur. So I put it in my bench vise. With the knuckle in the vise. Take the saw and cut it fairly close to the spur on the foot side first. Hang on to the foot and cut it. Then I come back to the, take that up a little more. Come back to the knee side, I guess. Hang on to the spur, watching your fingers. And cut that off. Get rid of that stuff. Then you're left with this piece here. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Now, what I do is I take my knife and I come in here and I cut down right at the edge of the spur, and I just follow it all the way around, cutting through that red pinkish leg scale down to the bone, being very careful not to cut your fingers. This is a brand new blade in here, so it makes it easier. And then once you get down through that, you can get the knife in behind it like this, and you, oh, I broke it. And you can peel it off. Alright, so we'll discard that. Now there's a couple of tendons in here that run the toes. You can cut them off, and then you can just kind of clean up the edge around your spur here. This stuff's pretty rubbery, so you'll see when you get in here that it's kind of tough to scrape off, and that's where that brass brush comes in later. I like to get as much off as I can the first time because it gets slimy once you put it in the peroxide. The peroxide will help whiten it up too. So you just scrape this off best you can. Then I use a screwdriver and just poke out the marrow that's in the center. Then I'll take another towel and just wipe off the excess to see if I got any pieces left on here. See, there's a little bit left on there that I can probably scrape off there. And you gotta go gentle because you can cut into this bone fairly easily. So just scrape it off. Okay, I think I'm gonna put that, maybe get this off here first. Scrape this off. The peroxide helps whiten it up, and it loosens up some of this sinewy stuff here sitting on the leg bone. So there, I just have it rough cut, kind of to size. There's a little bit of marrow left in there. I'll push that out. And then I'll put this in the peroxide. I'm going to grab the other one that I had. You can see how that whitens it up quite a bit sitting in there. And then it makes this other white sinewy stuff on here more prevalent, so you can see where it is and scrape it off. It's almost like a fatty sinew. Sometimes you can brush that stuff off of there. Now this brush is dirty, but you would be using a clean brush. And then once I'm done with this, I'll let it soak in the peroxide, maybe 15-20 minutes. And I keep alternating until I have it in there and nothing scrapes off of there anymore. Piece of that knife. So I just keep scraping it here until it comes clean. And this one isn't too bad right now. It's a lot easier to do this if they've sat for a day or two, as opposed to if you do them right away. You do them right away, I find that everything is really bonded on there and it's hard to cut the bone. So I've let these sit for 3 days. Now you can see how there's still a little bit coming out of there. But you got to be careful too, because this spur is a cap on there. And if you cut in there too close, it's not going to, it'll fall off. It's not going to stay on there. So I'll put that back in the peroxide and go back to the other one. Just scrape this stuff off here. Careful not to cut yourself. This is just a piece of the leg skin and a little bit of fat around here. This one did pretty good on. Scrape a little bit of this off. There. And then after I've let that soak in the peroxide for 20 minutes, half an hour, I will take some borax and put it in a container and then bury those in the borax just to dry them out. And you can use bleach on these to get them white, but you got to be careful. If you leave them in the bleach too long, they will start to disintegrate. Like they turn real powdery. And if you're going to be hanging them on a necklace, you don't want that to happen. So yeah, that's what I do with them. I let them sit here in the peroxide for a little bit, just bubble away, and I'll take the wire brush and just clean them up a little bit more. And then once they've sat in the borax, I'll take them out, and then you can file them to a shape. You can see on these ones the front side is narrower than the back, and I do that so that they hang on the necklace kind of together, as so they're not sticking straight out. They'll actually sit in a circle. It just makes it a little bit neater. So yeah, you take the turkey leg, you cut it, peel the skin off, soak it in peroxide, get all the fatty tissues off of there, sinews, and then put it in borax, and then file it to shape and put it on a necklace, just like that. Thanks for watching.